welcome. My name is Jody Jordan, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And this is my, June card class, and we are going to use the Happy Hibiscus bundle, and that consists of this really nice stamp set, a hybrid embossing folder, and these dies. Before I get started, I just wanted to show a few of you, I talked about it in class, how I store my, all of my embellishments. I get these from Amazon. They're called vinyl envelopes by Avery. I think they're used to store your passport, but I just use these. And then on the back, I type what the name of them are with my Dymo printing little thing, and I put the sticker right on top of there, and then I just peel these, or if it'll fit, I'll put it in there, but I usually tear this part off, and then I just stick them inside here, and that protects them from getting bumped around when you're digging through them. And then I have one of these, I don't know how to explain them other than back in the day, these used to be like the things you'd put in your refrigerator, but everybody's using different things as storage, and then I just put them in here, so now I can just fan through here and find, what I need for the class. So this is what I was talking about when I was telling you guys how I store all of my embellishments, and I have a lot. I have way more than this. I had to get rid of some, and I need to get rid of more because all these right here are retired. These are the only ones that are in the catalog now. So, but I keep them because I put them on my thank you cards or cards that are, I'm not demoing anymore. I still use them. So that was just one little tip I wanted to show you guys. I've been talking about it in class, and I wanted to show you what I'm at. Okay, so I have another tip. In class last month in class, we had so many problems with our dies sticking, and we couldn't get it out. Even when we poked the holes, it just wouldn't come out. This is just a dryer sheet. Now, keep in mind that your card could smell really good, or smell like your shower or your laundry. But if you just rub like this, just rub a little bit, and then place this over your dies. Place your dies on your cardstock. Now I'm going to run this through my electric die cutting machine real quick. It just falls right out. So there's another tip for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to make 2 cards, obviously, for the class, but this is how I start all the time. I start, we're going to do the, let's see, what is it, 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5 1/2. So I'm just going to go ahead and score. I've already got on my, I just feel like it's more accurate when I score it on this board because I can shove it up in the thing there. And then I'm going to get my trimmer and line it up at 4 1/4. Now I've got my 2 card bases ready. Now, before we fold it or anything, we're going to cut 6 1/2-inch rectangles off of the bottom. So there's 1. There's 2. 3. 4. 5. And 6. Okay, now we can fold this down. And not sure what I did with my roller tape, but all of you, when we come to class, I'm going to give you a piece of this paper. I just want to make sure this is recorded. Okay, or I mean, not paper, of this blue painter's tape. And I want you to take it and put it on your surface and get it a little bit less sticky, because this will tear your cardstock. Okay, so then we're going to take it, sticky side up, and you're going to stick this behind here. And then if you want, you can get something with a little bit of weight, or your glue bottle or something, and stick that on there. Just like that. You're going to take one of your six strips, and you're going to basically line it up with the bottom of your card. Okay. Now, once that's there, if you pull and tuck this back, it'll be out of your way. Just like that. Now it'll kind of stay in place. Then you're going to take your next strip and you're going to put it right in the middle. You don't have to measure. You can if you want, but it's, just eyeball it. Stick that on there. Then you're going to take your next one and you're going to put that in the middle of the middle one and the top of your card. Just eyeball it. You can measure it if you want, like I said, but you don't have to. One more. And you know it's straight if both of these are lining up, perfect. So then very carefully, you're going to pull that up, open up your card, and give it a good rub. Make sure, give it a good rub. And then we're going to bring it back. And we're going to just position these. Position these where you think you want them. Now, for me, I left a little bit of room because you're not going to see the top of this because you're going to cover it up with all your flowers. But so you can cut it off the bottom. So if I was you, I would just pull it down and get it line it up where you want it. Decide where you want it. Again, you could measure here, but honestly, if you just put it almost right in the middle between your tape and your, about a half inch. Or you could do it like this, put one here and put that beside. However you want to do it, but I'm going to definitely pull mine down because I don't want all that up here. Once you get your placement, then you're going to come in and kind of lift it up and then put just a dot of glue on each one of the things. And try to be real light with your glue because you don't want it to ooze over into the inside of your card. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. Real light on the glue. Okay, now open up your card and give it a good rub. Make sure it's stuck down before you start pulling on this tape. I would start from the top and just hold it on both sides and gently pull. Then from the back, you just snip off that part. And now we have our little lattice. Okay, so I I am using, I believe this, what did I do with it? Here it is. All right, so I'm bringing in my Big Shot, or Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I'm using the Timber 3D embossing folder. And I'm going to line this up in there. And then, if you read on your platform, this is a hybrid embossing folder. So if you look on here, it's going to tell you down here for 3D embossing folders, and then also the hybrid. This is considered 3D. So all you need is your plate number 1 and your plate number 4. And you're going to push this. You want this part to go out first so you don't have a line on your... You will have a little bit, but you don't want too much line on your... the back of your card. And then gently. I'm trying not to wiggle the camera too much. Okay. Okay, now we're going to get into there's 2 ways for this there's several ways that you could color this. You could stamp it, color it with your markers. You could stamp it, and if this is a 2-step where you stamp and stamp inside it. I chose to use these little sponge daubers, and I did that because I wanted to add layers of different colors. This is the card we're making. I wanted to layer, kind of put in some yellow and some Flirty Flamingo. And I did that so it would match our pack of these. So I picked the colors out of this to match this. So anyway, so first thing we're going to do is get a piece of cardstock. I already went ahead and cut out the flowers, or the leaves, and I'm going to stamp up. Now this is the one that goes around. It's a bundle of 3. It's this one. This is 3 of them, and I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo. I've got this thing rigged up on my camera because I can't find the part that I broke off of my stand, so it's extra wobbly up there. And then you're just stamping. This is just to stamp the outside. Now you have a choice in the class. You can stamp this, and then let me find... I'll show you the 2 different ways that you can do it. Okay, we can stamp it like this. And then inside, you could stamp it with individual stamps to fill it in. So, if you want to keep it the Flirty Flamingo, you would just line this up and stamp, okay? And there's one of these for each one of these to do it. I'm doing it different, but if that's what you want to do, you could do that in class. It's up to you. What I'm going to do is now I'm going to run this through the embossing folder. Now, I told you this is a hybrid embossing folder, so you're going to get you're going to have the Stampin' Up logo is going to be up, and then you're going to match this up, and it's going to kind of pop in place a little bit. How you know is your blade is going to be down, it's going to slide, and it's going to kind of pop in there. Okay. So then you're going to line up your cardstock. After that's in there, it's in there. So you don't have to worry about it falling out as long as you just slide this around and line this up. And I've got it upside down, so I got to start over here. Hang on. Now, if you don't want any texture, you could just cut it out regular with the dies, but the texture to me is really what makes these flowers really pop. Okay, I'm going to take this over and I'm going to cut it out real quick. You're going to use the same sandwich. You're going to use the number 1 and number 4 plate. Let me get this out of my way. I'm trying to do better by, when I use it, I put it up, because I've been, my desk, when I design stuff, it gets a mess. Okay, so I'm not doing it like this, but I want the texture. So I'm going to pull these over here, and I've got 3 different daubers. I want to come in with my crushed curry, and I'm going to dab this, and on your scrap piece of paper or your thing that I bring to class for you guys to sit on your desk, you can just go around the stamen or around the inside of the flower. Okay. Now I'm going to bring in the Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to get this card out of the way because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to stick my hands in the ink and it's going to be everywhere. Now I'm going to grab my other dauber. Oh, again, on my, I keep these in a, I got this container, and so I put the names on each one of the colors with that same Dymo thing, and then I can store them in here. So I have, every color that I use, I can reuse it. I think these are washable. I'm not really sure, but I mean, you could wash them out if you want, but I think that thing was, I don't know, 20 bucks for that whole thing full of daubers. Now, we do sell these, I think, still on Stampin' Up website, but and this is, I like the way this does this because it's kind of like it gives you a light and a dark tone. And then I didn't want those white edges, so I just kind of went in and made it even darker on the edges. Now you can leave it white if you want because it's not going to show up because your card base is white. I think the hardest thing about this card is the positioning without it showing on the opposite side. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a second. Because you're already going to have a lot kind of going on the opposite side. Okay. Just to show you what I'm talking about is when you go to open your card, you got to make sure you're not gluing it to the empty space. You've got, see, like right there, I got glue right there. But you can't see it because the glue is clear, but you know, if you go to put your dimensional there or something. So that's the one thing you're going to have to worry about is placement on your, how you lay your flowers. And I did work with that quite a bit. Okay, so now we're going to set those to the side. So I brought in, these are, what is this color called? I don't use it that often, so let me see. It is called Soft Sea Foam. It's a very, very light kind of color green. And I'm just bringing in, I did 3 of each one of our flowers. And I'm going to try and have these die cut for you guys. I'm not sure if I will get it all done or not. But then I'm going to come in and I'm going to use a darker color of garden green just to give it texture. We're going to go and try to give it just a little bit of texture. And you can just kind of dab it on there. You can kind of rub it, but you got to be careful because these are really thin and fragile. Because they have these so that, like, this is cut, but they do that to give it texture. And it doesn't have to be totally changing the color of it. Just give it a little dap and it just gives it texture and makes it look dimensional. Now, if you guys have these at home, I will bring one set of these to class. If you have some at home and you want, because this is what's going to take a long time in class, is for everybody to do their coloring and, you know. So if you want to bring some sponges, or you could do that with sponges. You know, you have these. You could easily do this with a sponge. I've done that before. Whatever you want to use. It's up to you guys if you want to bring it to class. Okay, so now we're going to set those to the side. Get the screen out of the way. So now we're done with our coloring. All we have to do is our placement. Now, get this out of the way. You're going to see at the very top up here that it didn't cover with the wood, and that's because the top and the bottom of the embossing folder has that. But unless you wanted to do the whole thing, but I don't like to do that because if you want to write on here, you can't write. But anyways, so the first thing that I did was I tried to lay out what I know is going to be at the bottom, and I know that I wanted one of these leaves to come up here in that corner because that's kind of going that way. And then I'm like, well, I'm probably going to want another one to come out this way. And then I laid my largest hibiscus, and I just kind of stuck that in the middle of those. Now this, I want it to come out a little bit more, so I'm going to play with it, get it to work. Then next, I'm trying to fill up some of the area, so I'm going to bring in one of these little leaves. And then same thing with here, I want to bring in here a little bit. And every card's going to be different. Like this one I can already tell is situated up higher than the first card I did. So I can either try to replicate it and bring it down or just work with what I got. Okay. Then the next thing I did was I brought in this flower. And I did have that kind of go over top like that. And then I just brought in one more leaf to come down here to the bottom a little bit to fill that area in. You can arch it forward or back or however you want to do it. And then I stuck this one just right on top. So if you're happy with that, then you got to try to work your way around getting them stuck down. So the first thing I did was I didn't want to have too much height. So I just stuck these, I have some many dimensionals, and I think class I'm bringing big ones, but it's usually the same people in the class, so you guys can, maybe you still have some of the little ones, and I just kind of stuck that down. So then now all this is kind of stuck together. So I'm just going to lift this up, set this to the side a little bit, and I'm going to start gluing this stuff down where it's at. Like this one I want to glue down. Try to be mindful of your glue. And you don't have to glue the whole thing because you want it to have texture and sit up. And the one thing you got to do is try to make sure you're keeping it on the, how was that, like that. Make sure that you're gluing it down to here and not down there. Okay, now what I did was I went straight down this line with some dimensionals. And then I'm going to pick this up just how it was and flip it over. Well, so much for that, but okay. Now this one, I'm just gonna kind of show behind there. Now this is this came with the stamp set, and it's too big, so we're gonna have to cut it down. So what I did was I just chopped the whole thing off. Matter of fact, when I give you guys, I'm probably just gonna give you a rectangle of stamp. It's easier for me to cut it out on my machine than cut all these, so since I know it's not going to fit. Now you can use, I'll bring some more sentiments, you can use whatever you want, but for that one I used You Make Me Smile. I think I'm going to use Have a Blessed Day. Well, I'm going to try the happy birthday because I always need happy birthday cards. That's the main thing I send my cards for is birthday. I'm going to try and make it fit. So I just used the garden green to kind of stay in the color scheme. And I always try to stamp it one time to see. Ooh, that's definitely not going to work. Happy birthday is not going to work, guys. So just for this video, I'm just going to put some large dimensionals on the back. I'll try to dig up some good sentiments for you guys. I know everybody in class makes it for different things. Now, I tucked it under. I tried to find a place where you could read the whole thing, but tuck it under and placed it on there. And then I grabbed these. And I wanted to bring out the yellow in the card, so I just chose the crushed curry dots and took up the space right here. And that is your card. Now, for this card, one thing to think about is when you're writing, you got to make sure that you only write from here to here, or you could flip it over and write on the back if you wanted. But I hope you guys like this card because I know that Tracy had mentioned doing this card a while back, and I was just waiting for the perfect stamp set to do it. And I'm glad I waited. So these are the two cards. Of course, you can tell they're the same but different. Everyone's layout is going to be different, so I know you guys are going to be worried about that in class, but no, it looks good. Both, you can't tell me one card looks better than the other. So that's card number 1. If you're interested in taking one of my card classes, I offer them in person in Lakeland, Florida, or I also offer a to-go package. Just register for my email list and you will receive all the information. Okay, so for card 2, we're going to bring in the perennial postage dies, and then I'm going to bring in this stamp set, Unbound Love, for the happy birthday sentiment. So in your kit, you should have a card base and there's the right one in there. Your card base, your inside panel, then you're going to have a panel for your strips. You're going to have another white panel that is going to be part of your strips. You should have a piece of the Flirty Flamingo for your leaves, and then inside you should have you should have 4, but 2 leaves for each card. So the first thing I want to do is, let me go ahead and glue this in to get this going and out of my way. Okay, let me get that away. Now the one that says, whoops, I'm losing leaves. The one that says 4 strips, you're going to, actually let's just go ahead and get our Stampin' out of the way for this. I'm just going to do Flirty Flamingo on top of Flirty Flamingo. Now, if you want to cut this out, you can just cut it out, or if you want it to have texture, you can do like we did before. If you want to just cut it out, you can lay it and run it through the embossing thing. If you want to do the texture, then you're going to do it the same way we did before. So it's your decision what you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and run it through and give it texture. I just think it looks better. It's definitely a little bit harder to see the lines of the Flirty Flamingo when the cardstock isn't white. Okay. Okay, so that's done. Get this out of the way. Okay, let me grab a scratch piece of paper. So what I mean by strips, let me get all this out of the way, is you're going to these, and then you should have 2 each, well, you use 1 each of these on each card. So we're going to just start gluing our strips. It doesn't matter what color you do. I mean, you can follow what I do or whatever you want. You don't have to put a ton of glue on here, just a little bit of glue. Try not to ooze it out of there because you don't need to make it that way. I want to put it all the way to the very edge, butt it right up to the very edge so you don't see any white. Now I'm starting with Calypso Coral. Then this one is Flirty Flamingo, if you're trying to do it in the same order as me. I'm basically just doing the same color families, the same color, like dark to light, or the same color tones, I guess. And make sure you don't see any white through there. Then I'm going to do I think I changed. This one is, what's this yellow? This yellow is Daffodil Delight. I don't know. I had the other and I just thought it looked too dark. So I'm doing this is Daffodil Delight rather than Crushed Curry. And then this one is Lemon Lolly. And it's okay if there's strips hanging off of one end. It's okay. We're going to cut them off. Just try your best not to have any white showing. Then I went in with the green. And then I went in with the blue. Okay. Now you're going to have a white panel like this. You're going to glue that onto the rest of this right here. It doesn't matter if it hangs off a little bit, that's fine. We're going to fix it. Okay, so that's basically what you got, like a little rainbow. Now I'm going to come back here and chop all this off. You don't have to, but I am. Okay, now what you want to do is you want to take the largest perennial postage dies and the largest square. The largest rectangle and the largest square from the perennial postage dies. Now, first thing you're going to do, I didn't put it in your kit, but I just remembered I need to do it. This is just copy paper. I'm just cutting it 4.5 or 4 1/4 by 5.5. Let me clean off my desk a little bit so I can, if I want to bring the Big Shot in, or the stamp cut and emboss machine in here. I'm going to put these in here or I'm going to lose them. Okay, so for this you're going to need, plate 1, plate 2, your bottom plate, then you're going to need this. And what you're going to do is you're going to flip this over and you want to lay the side with your rainbow all the way over to where it's on the very track, the very edge of the track. And you want to have some tape ready. You want it to meet up. The top and the bottom doesn't matter. What matters is to get all your pink in, you want it to go right on this edge right here. Let me make sure I got you in the... See this line right here? Not this line, the cutting line. You want to make sure that that pink, that the edge of this white is right on that edge. When you lay it down, you want to make sure you don't put your tape on your don't put your tape on here because it will imprint it and mess up your card. Trust me, I have learned the hard way. Now, because my plates are all scratched up, you want to lay a piece of paper over top, and this is another tip for you guys, that when you're die cutting and your plate has rough scratches on there, to keep your surface smooth, just put a piece of paper, light cardstock over there. Now we're going to cut this out, and it's going to be kind of tough to get through there. And you might want to come back through. Okay. All right. Now, get rid of all this. Now, before we do the next part, I want you to get out your stamp and stamp your sentiment, which I'm doing happy birthday out of here. I'm going to use the darkest green I have, or the garden green, just because it is the darkest color. Put this on here. I'm going to grab, I just want to make sure this is stamping pretty good. Okay. You want to go for as far down in the bottom as you can get it, to where you can make it look nice. Oh, now it Doesn't seem like it's inked up. Okay, let me get the ink out of the way here. All right, now you're going to bring back in your die cutting machine. Hopefully you guys can see all this. Okay, now you're going to take you want to grab I'm going to use the largest flower, and I'm going to put it up in this corner right here. Now you're not going to leave that there, but you want to take this and line up the points. Now I'm not going to put my tape on there. I'm going to wing it because I don't want those prints on there. I could maybe put, nah, I'm not even going to chance it. So just like that, you just want to make sure that you have room for your flower and you have room for this. Now your hibiscus can hang off just a little bit, but because you still have the card base. So you got to make sure you're lining up these points right here, the corners, with the blue. You want half white, half blue. Okay, put your paper over top and run it through the die again, or through the cutting machine again. Okay, get this out of the way. All right, so you're going to bring in your card base. You're going to punch this out. You're going to bring in your card base and put your glue down and lay it down like normal. Hang on, I got to make sure. Yeah, okay. So lay it down just like normal. Now you're going to take this piece and you're going to flip it and put the lines on the outside and the white part on the right. And you're going to glue it right in the hole. Oh, nope. The other way. Okay, and then for your hibiscus, you can pop that up on dimensionals. Okay, and then for your leaves, you just stick them in wherever you want. Okay, then you get your dots. one is... Okay. And then you can pick whatever color. I'm not going to use the pink. I'm going to use the green, the yellow, and the blue. Because I'm going to... Well, actually... I think I'm going to use the green, the pink, and the blue. And that is card 2. Okay? Okay, so for card 3, we're going to I don't know what I did with it. Well, anyways, all we're going to do is take, there will be inside your kit, there's going to be a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of white cardstock, and you're going to run it through this embossing folder and then glue it down to the front of the card base. Then you're going to stamp. This time I used Calypso Coral. I felt like it was a little bit darker. But I did fill it in with the pink, and I'll show you what I mean. So you're going to stamp. And then again, you can go through and you can just die cut this out, or you can do it through the embossing folder, whatever you want to do. I've already got that done. So I'm just going to bring in a little scratch piece of paper and color these in real quick. And you can decorate your the front of your card however you want. There will be three flowers that you cut out. I'm only putting 1. I'm just keeping mine simple, but I gave you guys 4 of each set of these leaves. So for yours, I'm only going to use 2 of these, so I don't need that. And then you'll have like a little ring. You're going to take that ring and you're going to put some dimensionals on the back. If you have large ones, you'll have to cut it in half. And I'm going to just put this ring right in the middle of the card. And then whatever you decide to stamp your sentiment, let's see. I'm going to use this one that says Happiest Birthday, but the one in the actual set that fits in this die cut circle, which is this one, is Thanks for Being So Kind. And I actually did one of the cards in the Thanks for Being So Kind, but I always need birthday cards, so that's why I wanted to do mine in this. So let me grab that stamp real quick. I'm going to keep it in the same Calypso Coral color. I'm just going to stamp one time to make sure it's okay. I don't know why. Well, yeah, I do. Okay. And then for these, I'm just going to do like last time and sponge with the same colors. The Crushed Curry and the Flirty Flamingo. I'm only going to color 1 because I'm only doing 1 flower. So now you're going to take your dimensionals and you're going to figure out how you're going to lay your flower. I want mine to go like that. So I'm going to make sure I have dimensional on this side and one on this side. And it's just going to float over the circle. Like that. And then I'm going to just glue my green leaves in. But before I do that, I want to position the happy birthday. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to float that over. So I need to figure out my placement. And I'm going to put the dimensionals here and here. And then I'm just going to glue a couple leaves behind each side, and that's it. It's done. It might look cute if you... I think I had some other flowers up here already colored. I just had them and threw them somewhere. Oh, here. It might look cute if you put a little flower there too. That might be cute. Just put one of these. Or not. It's your card. You can do whatever you want with it. You have all the plenty of extras in your kit to do whatever you want. And for the gems, I did the yellow to bring out the yellow, but you can again do whatever colors you want, choose to do your colors in. And that is the final card. Thanks. Have a blessed day.